Now look at the question number 3. True statements concerning the conjunctivitis in the neonate in the image includes each of the following except. So what are the things you are looking at? Can you tell me the diagnosis of this baby? They are otherwise saying also conjunctivitis in the newborn. So this is a case of the ophthalmia neonatorum. Ophthalmia neonatorum. It is a case of ophthalmia neonatorum. What was ophthalmia neonatorum? Where we are having the ophthalmia in a neonate, means we are having a bilateral conjunctivitis in a neonate. And if you remember, in 2018, there were consecutive 2 questions in the NEET where they say what is the most common cause of neonatal conjunctivitis, and they also ask the most severe cause of the neonatal conjunctivitis. So we will be discussing that also. And when do you suspect that a baby is having ophthalmia neonatorum? It could be any discharge. Any kind of discharge present in the patient, whenever we are having any kind of discharge, should lead to the suspicion, because if you look at the tear formation, this is taking place between 4 to 6 weeks. So that means till 4 weeks, any kind of discharge is an indicator of ophthalmia neonatorum. Okay? Now what they are saying that it includes all of the following except. So again they are asking you about the wrong statement. Okay? True are all except. So number 1 is definitive diagnosis can be made by seeing the intracytoplasmic inclusion bodies on the gem sustaining. Sufficient initial treatment can be provided by the topical erythromycin. Differential diagnosis includes both the viral and the bacterial diseases, and the initial workup should include particular attention to the corneal epithelium. Yes, very good. It is a case of ophthalmia neonatorum. So let's try to discuss the DD of ophthalmia neonatorum first. I could not see the chat that you have to zoom. Please tell me now if I have to zoom. Okay. So DD of ophthalmia neonatorum. Whenever a baby is coming with this DD, what are the things you have to take into consideration when this baby is going to present? Less than 48 hours of the birth or more than 48 hours of the birth. So basically we are going in this way. Now, agar less than 48 hours hai, so what are the 2 things the baby can have? We can have chemical conjunctivitis and we can have the gonococcal. ठीक है ना? While if my baby is presenting more than 48 hours, we can have other bacteria. Other bacteria may we have got less virulent bacteria. Then I can have viral. Viral may like I can have herpes simplex. And I can also have chlamydial. ठीक है? Now other bacteria में which bacteria mostly we have? The staph and the strep. ठीक है? Now the 2 important questions, which one is most common? So chlamydial is actually most common. While if you talk about the most severe is this gonococcal conjunctivitis, which is causing the blindness. So most severe is the one which is causing the blindness. This is gonococcal. Now somebody has rightly pointed out here, as I can see, that chemical conjunctivitis, it's not that common nowadays, because here the Creed's method, due to which it was occurring, the Creed's method is now obsolete. Previously, we used to have this, where we used to use this 1% silver nitrate solution, due to which the babies used to have this chemical conjunctivitis. So it's not that common nowadays. But certainly you can easily differentiate that whether the patient is having this chemical conjunctivitis or gonococcal conjunctivitis when the baby is presenting less than 48 hours, because chemical conjunctivitis will be very, very mild and you will have just the watery discharge and there will be no congestion. So it will not be a difficult thing to differentiate that whether it is a chemical one or it's a gonococcal one. Gonococcal में क्या होगा? It is very severe. ठीक है ना? We all know that gonococcal is caused by the Neisseria gonorrhoeae, which is a very, very virulent bacteria, and you will have bilateral involvement. You will have severe congestion. You will have the severe congestion, and the kind of discharge that you will have will be the purulent discharge. So in cases of the gonococcal conjunctivitis, we are going to have this. So will you treat it or not? Yes, of course I am going to treat it because it's very, very severe. So here the therapy that I give is a BAC therapy. Okay? Now what is this BAC therapy? B is your bacitracin. Bacitracin eye ointment. Then A for atropine. Always remember that whenever you have the risk of corneal involvement, this is again a very important question. Why I want to give atropine here? Atropine is for the corneal involvement. Whenever we have a risk of involvement of cornea. Now you will say that here the question is of conjunctivitis. Why I am taking into consideration this corneal involvement? Because some of the bacteria have that power of penetrating the intact corneal epithelium, and gonococcal is one of them. So it can cause the corneal involvement, due to which I am giving this atropine. And C for ceftriaxone. Ceftriaxone. We are also giving the IM injection of the ceftriaxone. This is actually the systemic treatment, because you know that whenever you have this gonococcal conjunctivitis, it is also causing the systemic features. That is why the systemic treatment is also important. Atropine is also important for the corneal involvement, and the bacitracin eye ointment is also important. Alright. Now looking at this, if you look at the more than 48 hours. So more than 48 hours may, if it is caused by the other bacteria, so I will have to give the broad spectrum antibiotics for this. Broad spectrum antibiotics are given for this. Number 2, if it is viral. So if it is viral, mostly it is asymptomatic, but sometimes you may have to give the antivirals. But yes, this is the most important thing because chlamydial is most common. So what is the most important thing in this chlamydial? It is forming the HP bodies. It is forming the HP bodies, Halber-Steter Provozek bodies. I'll write it here. Anybody who can write the full form of this? Halber-Steter Provozek bodies it is forming. And these bodies are actually nothing but these are your inclusion bodies. है ना? These are the inclusion bodies, and where these inclusion bodies are produced, these inclusion bodies are intracytoplasmic. These are intracytoplasmic inclusion bodies, and whenever this is there, you have to give the full-on treatment, right? So in this light, let us try to solve the question. Yes, very good. Yes, Vansh. Whether you are from private medical college or you are from government medical college, that does not matter. How much efforts you are putting in there, that actually matters. And if you do not believe now, go to our channel and look at the history. So many people from private medical colleges and so many people who were having, you know, in thousands rank, and they have come up with the first 500 amongst the first 500 ranks or among thousands. So don't, you know, ever question yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Okay. So let us see this question. Can you see this question or should I zoom it more? So definitive diagnosis can be made by seeing the intracytoplasmic inclusion bodies on the GEMSA staining. First of all, tell me this is true or false. Let us, do it true or false wise. So this will help you in solving the question like that also, because many a times you are getting true and false question also in your INICT. So can you tell me, is it true or false? Can you make a definitive diagnosis of the ophthalmia neonatorum? They are taking into consideration that this is chlamydia, and we can take it because that is the most common cause of the neonatal conjunctivitis. So if I am having crazy cricket, atropine we give for pain. Yes, whenever we are having corneal involvement, we are giving atropine. That will relieve the pain too. So this definitive diagnosis that we are giving, is it true or false? Very good, Ankita. Ankita is the first one to say yes, this is a true statement. Because if I am having the chlamydia trachomatis, I can make the diagnosis by staining the intracytoplasmic inclusion bodies on the GEMSA staining. True hai? Yes, everybody is correct. Crazy cricket and Abhijit also. ठीक है? What is your name? Ithuz. ठीक है. Now come to the B option. Sufficient treatment can be provided by topical erythromycin. Now tell me, is it true or false? Can you treat this case sufficiently just by giving only topical erythromycin? What do you think? Is it true or false? Now also write that for what option you are writing true or false. Write B and then uske front mein you have to write true or false. A ka true tha, that has been given. Now write B and do you think it is true or false? Can you treat sufficiently just by erythromycin? Just now I have told you that you have to give the becytrecin. Becytrecin, theek hai, it is the family of erythromycin. But you have to give the atropine also. You have to give the systemic treatment also, ceftriaxone. So is it true or false? Yes, so this is a false statement. Definitely it's false. How can I treat only by erythromycin? Hai na? Agar it's a gonococcal, then I cannot treat. If it is the other bacteria, then I have to give the broad spectrum antibiotics. If it is by the virus, then I have to give the antivirals also. So definitely it's not true. Then number C, differential diagnosis includes both viral and bacterial diseases. Do you have both viral and bacterial diseases in your differential diagnosis when you are thinking about the ophthalmia neonatorum? Is it true or false? So write the option number C and give true or false. For C, now you have to tell me. See, this is very important that you attempt here, because by this you actually comes to know that what will you think in the exam when actually you get this question. Otherwise, baad mein we get biased that yes, I will also think and I must be thinking in the same way. But actually, are you thinking in that way or not? That counts. That matters. So C is obviously true hai. It is true because we are having the herpes also. We are having other bacteria, gonococci also. So it's true. C is true. Now talking about D. Initial workup include particular attention to corneal epithelium. Should I pay attention to corneal epithelium? Why should I pay attention to corneal epithelium? So tell me about D. D के बारे में क्या सोच रहे हो? Should I give attention to corneal epithelium? D is your corneal epithelium. Exactly, it's true. Why? Because you know that whenever we have the bacterial infections, right? Whenever I am having the bacterial infections in the cornea, how it is going? First, it is doing the epithelial erosion. First, it is causing the epithelial erosion, and then secondarily, it is causing the corneal ulcer. So this is the usual way how it is going. First, there is a corneal erosion in the epithelium, and then secondarily infection takes place. But there are certain bacteria which can penetrate the intact corneal epithelium. So the bacteria which can penetrate the intact corneal epithelium, this list is again important. You should know it is the Cornybacterium diphtheria. Cornybacterium diphtheria is there. Neisseria gonorrhoeae. Neisseria meningitidis. Neisseria gonorrhoeae is there. Neisseria meningitidis is there. Then we have got Shigella, Listeria, and also the H. influenzae. So these are the bacteria, and one which is given here is the Neisseria gonorrhoeae. These are the bacteria that can invade the normal intact epithelium. So what should be our answer then? No किस लिए लिखा है राजदर? No मतलब D false. How it is false? Yes, it is true. You have to pay real attention first to the epithelium, because if the infection is taking place by the gonorrhea, then that can lead to the involvement of cornea also. We can have corneal ulcer also. So this is also true. So what is not true here? I have to tell all except. So answer will be sufficient initial treatment provided by the topical erythromycin. This is a false statement. I cannot treat it sufficiently by just giving the erythromycin. Yes.